Buffalo Bills just got smacked by that Houston Texans defense. Josh Allen got sacked 7 or 8 times. It was a rough game. It was a rough game, no doubt, especially if you're a Bills fan. All those sacks, the classic rookie second year Josh Allen interceptions. I mean, it was just a bad game all around. Especially playing Davis Mills, you got to get those wins. If you're going to be a championship team, you got to win those ones. I get it's on the road. I get it's against a good defense, but you got to find a way to beat Davis Mills. Now, although it was a tough game, and the Bills dropped to 7-4, and it really puts a damper on their division hopes to a degree. One thing I would like to point out is how that game, the losing to the Texans, might end up helping the Bills when it comes to the playoffs. Now, you might be saying, what does that mean? Losing to the Texans? The reason why losing to the Texans might have actually saved the Bills. So you can see it's a heated wild card race. You've got Jags at 6-4, Texans 6-5, Chiefs 6-5, Chiefs 5-5, Ravens 5-5. And I'm not really going to consider either of these teams, Dolphins or Bengals, active. If the Buffalo Bills can stay in this five or six range, it's probably pretty fair to expect them not to win the division, but to be the 5th or the 6th seed. The Texans have a tiebreaker over the Chiefs. The Texans have a tiebreaker over the Ravens. There is a very good chance, especially if the Ravens can't win their division. It definitely doesn't look like the Kansas City Chiefs can win their division. They're 4 games back with a game playing the Colts this week. So it definitely looks like the Chiefs are going to be vying for a playoff spot. The Chiefs lost the Jaguars. The Chiefs lost the Bills. They lost the Texans. What that means, and they did lose the Chargers, but they can avenge that loss. But what that means is they need to be a game above these teams to make the playoffs. So if they all finish 10-7, the Chiefs are out. Chiefs are out if they're all 10-7, which means the Chiefs have no room for error. Chiefs can maybe lose one game. The Ravens have a little bit more room for error because they're really vying for the divisional race. The Ravens lost to the Chiefs. The Ravens lost to the Texans. The Ravens' race is to get to the 4th seed. Now, the reason why this is important, you might say, why does it even matter if the Chiefs or the Ravens make the playoffs? If this is the playoff seeding, let's just freeze it here, and let's just say, whether it's the Texans or Jaguars, I don't think anybody cares about that. These 7 teams, there is no doubt in anyone's mind that the Buffalo Bills have the best quarterback by a large margin. If you can keep the Ravens out of the playoffs, if the Steelers win the division and the Chiefs miss the playoffs, both of them are on the outside looking in, you have the best quarterback in the playoffs, especially on the AFC side. Joe Burrow's out, Lamar's out, Mahomes is out, maybe Lawrence, you got Herbert, Daniel Jones is looking good. Obviously, Nix and May are looking all right, especially May. But look, who do you trust? If that's the playoff seeding, if that loss to the Texans is why the Texans get in over the Chiefs and the Ravens, I think they're going to look back on that game, and unironically, that's going to be a pivotal point in them winning in the playoffs. You very realistically could have, let's just freeze it here and say, Bills go to New England, which I think the Bills would probably be favored in that game. Then the Bills would go to Denver. Look, I think the Bills would probably be favored in that game. And then the Bills would play Colts, Steelers, Chargers, Jags. I think the Buffalo Bills would be favored in all 3 of those games. Now, different situation, if the Ravens get the division title, if the Chiefs slip in the 7th seed, then you're going to have to probably beat one of those elite MVP caliber quarterbacks, and that's a whole different case. But if you can make it into the playoffs, if you can find a way to keep the elite quarterbacks out of the playoffs, I think that's the route.